Hello, and welcome to this week's Question of the Week. This week, a listener asks, why does God say, "Fear not" to the elect? Chris goes to the Bible to answer this good question, and enjoy the discussion.
Welcome to our program. Please go ahead with your call.
Hi, Chris. Can you go to Psalm 34:11?
Okay, Psalm 34 and verse 11. Come, ye children, hearken unto me. I will teach you the fear of Jehovah.
Can you also go to Proverbs 1:7?
Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 7. The fear of Jehovah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
And Luke 18:4.
Luke 18, verse 4. Well, actually, I'll start in verse 2 because it mentions that this judge did not fear God, saying, There was in a city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded man. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, Avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, Though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. And the Lord said, Hear what the unjust judge saith.
I was looking at the word fear, and I could see that the fear of God is a good thing. Also, when you don't fear God, it's not a good thing. But when Christ came in person and he spoke to Joseph, Mary, Zechariah, James, John, Simon, he always said, Fear not. And also in Luke 12:32, he's specifically speaking to the elect, not to fear. So why the contrast, especially seeing that it's coming from Christ, who is God?
Well, yeah, wicked men do not fear the Lord. We know that. God tells us that in Romans 3, and it says, after a long, ugly list of things that sinners do, we read in verse 18, there is no fear of God before their eyes. And this unjust judge in the parable, he's unjust because he doesn't fear God. And that's typical of the sinner. There's no fear of God. The child of God is given fear when we receive the new spirit, new heart. We have that ongoing desire to do the will of God. And Proverbs, again in verse 1, the fear of Jehovah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So the child of God fears the Lord, and it really shows in our life that we desire to keep his commandments. As far as the statement that's made sometimes when God makes an appearance, or maybe the angel of Jehovah, who is God himself, comes into view, and the statement is made, fear not, as you said, Zacharias, fear not, because God is holy and just great in his being, in his presence. It's a fearsome thing to enter into the presence of God. And a man who experienced that in the days when the Lord broke the barrier of the supernatural and would make an appearance in one way or another to that man, well, the frightening thing was that the man was still in a body of sin. Even if he was saved, there was sin in his physical body. And here it's just a natural tendency to pull away, for a sinner to go from the holiness of God, the purity and his righteousness. It's kind of like when Moses came down from the mount, and they couldn't behold his face, so he had to put a veil over just that reflective glory of God. And God assures the individual, no, don't fear. I have not come to destroy you, to judge you, to hold you accountable for your sin. no, you are one of mine, and all sin is forgiven. And so it's just a comforting reassurance to the person that God's, his intent is good towards them in the visit, rather than, visitation from God. Even in the Bible, when we read of God and visitation, it has in view judgment, but not for those that he has saved.
Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. That way you don't miss any upcoming videos.